friends, welcome to the Ultimate Self-Mastery Program. Today is day 1. Before starting the session, I would like to give you a brief about how these 5 days are going to be like. Day 1, we're actually going to see the secret formula behind the science of life. Day 2, once we know the secret of the science of life, we're going to see a beautiful, simple but powerful practice of how to manifest the life that you want. Day 3, we're going to see the importance of thankfulness, how to be grateful, why to be grateful, and how can this practice of gratitude change your thought process, change your emotions, and change your life altogether. And day 4, we're going to see a very powerful practice called Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian practice of forgiveness, and what is the impact of doing that practice? Why should we forgive? How should we forgive? What is the way in which, if we do this practice, we can change every pattern or every repetitive pattern in our lives and completely transform our lives. And day 5, the ultimate self-mastery day, wherein I would be revealing to you the secret formula of manifestation. It's going to help you completely change your daily life, your lifestyle, the way you look at life, how your perceptions are towards life, and how can you reach and manifest every goal that you set in your life. So it's going to be a beautiful process for all of you, and I'm going to enjoy it as much as you create your life for yourselves. So let's immediately get into today's session, day 1. Today we're going to see the secret of the science of life. What is the science of life? We all are ignorant actually about the science of life because we don't really learn it in our schools. So it is very critical for each of us to see through how actually life happens to us. So let's look at this process. It's a beautiful, absolute truth that we're going to see how life happens to every individual in this universe. All of us as human beings actually live the same process, but we do not live the same lives. Why? Let's look at the secret of science of life. So if life or destiny is what we have on one end, let's look at what starts, where do we start from for life to happen the way it is happening now for us. So think about it. In a day, when we open our eyes, what's the first thing that we do before even life happens to us? Yes, you're right. We think. Anything and everything that you want to do in your life, you need to think. So thought is the first process in the science of life. Every thought also has something attached to it. And as you all know, yes, what is it? It is the emotion. Every thought definitely has an emotion attached to it. So that's the second process in the science of life. Thought has an emotion. Every thought that you take has an emotion. So there's a question that somebody can ask, or you can think, or you can feel. How many thoughts do we really take in a day? Do we know how many thoughts we take in a day? Normally I get varied answers. But today it is scientifically proven that an average human being takes 70 to 80,000 thoughts in a day. And the quality of these thoughts actually determine our lives. So if I take 70 to 80,000 thoughts in a day, accordingly I'm also taking the same number of emotions depending on the thought that I take. So thought and emotion is the first process in the cycle of life. Every thought and emotion leads to something else. What's the third? What would be that third process? Every thought and every emotion that we take continues and leads us to the words that we speak. Based on what I think and based on what I feel is what I speak. Every word that comes out has to be based on what I think and what I feel. So words is the third process in the cycle of life. And as I speak, I act. So thoughts create emotions, emotions and thoughts create words, words further create action. Exactly. We all know that the whole day, in a day of 24 hours, we keep acting, we keep playing different actions. All our actions is definitely based on the way I think and the way I feel, and accordingly the words that I speak comes from the same space. So this is a cyclic activity. So after I act, again I think, again I feel, again I speak, again I act. Continuously, this process keeps continuing. Thought to action is a continuous, repetitive pattern or repetitive cycle that we all do in our lives. So what do? We only do this in our lives. Every 24 hours, every human being is only into this cycle. Amazing, right? But do we live the same lives? We do not live the same lives. Why? So it is completely based on the kind of perception I have as a human being, the type of thoughts that I take, the type of emotions that I hold, and accordingly my communication and my action definitely determines my life. So this repetitive pattern creates something in my life. If I have 70 to 80,000 thoughts and it creates actions, this repetitive cycle makes something out of me. What does that repetitive cycle do to me, or what does that become of mine? This actually leads to our habits. Habits actually come from this cycle, this repetitive conditioned cycle that I am in all these years in my life. So do understand, dear friends, that habits are not genetic. They are actually created by us in our life based on what I think, what I feel, what I speak, and how I act. All this makes my habits, and we all have good habits and not so good habits also. So all our habits, and whether it is good or not so good, actually creates the next process in the cycle of life. So what do all our habits create for us? Can you think? Yes, exactly. All our habits actually create our character or our personality. So the personality that you are today in your life is only because of all the thoughts, emotions, words, actions, and habits that you have created over a period of time in your life. How does that feel? Do we really live our lives knowing this? Are we really aware that this is what I'm doing in my life every day, in and out, 24 hours? Today it's the time to open that up for you, and that is why I call this as a secret formula. It's not that we do not know it, but we are really not focusing on our thought, emotion, word, action as much as we should. So today I invite each and every person here to start observing thought, emotion, and therefore words and action. Now, the character that you are, the personality that I am, finally determines my destiny. So this is the process of life. Thought, emotion, words, action, habit, character, finally leading to life or destiny. What is opening up for all of you, for each of you, when you see that your life process is this concept, it is this science? Are we all living this science of life? It's 100% understood that most of us, 95% of people, do not get this science. We all think that our life is determined by others. Our life is determined by the situations outside me. My life is determined by my parents, my teachers, my colleagues, my friend circle, and the society at large. So we always give in thinking that I am not the creator of my life, but everything else and everybody else is creating my life. Today I want to be very clear with all of you, and I want to bring this absolute truth, which is the absolute truth of the universe, already proven, that each of your lives is completely dependent on your thoughts and your emotions, because that is the root cause of what your life turns up to be. So the beauty of the science of life is that if I can focus and take 100% responsibility on my thoughts and my emotions, you're going to change your life completely. There's going to be a huge transformation in your life only if you focus on your thoughts and emotions in any situation, in any given situation that you are in your life. Your life is not dependent on others. Your life is not dependent on the society. Your life is not dependent on things outside you, but your life is completely dependent on your own thoughts and emotions, which is completely in your control. And that's the most beautiful part of it. Your life is not uncontrollable. Your life is completely your making. You create your life the way you want. But for that, you need to take 100% responsibility of how you think and how you feel in every moment of your life. And that's the truth. If you can start living this truth today, your life is going to completely shift, and I'm going to teach you tools and techniques to actually take action of your thoughts, take a stand of how do I think and how do I feel every moment in my life, no matter what is outside me, because the power lies completely within me, within my thoughts, within my emotions. Now, I have a question for all of you. Tell me, what do you want in your life? Write down everything that you want in your life. Take 1 minute out and write down, what do I really want in my life? Yes, take that time out and write. We understand that most of the answers that I get from my clients and from my sessions when people write is, I'm sure most of you would have written happiness, peace, success, wealth, health, abundance, good relationships, etc. So these are basically the most common things that we write that we want in our lives, right? I'm sure all of you have written at least 1 or 2 things that I've said. So if you want happiness, peace, love, joy in your life, where to focus? As simple as that. Where do I focus? Instead of focusing on others, which is not in your control, instead of focusing on any situation, which is again not in your control as such, how the situation happens to you, the focus needs to be completely in the root cause or the root step or the first step in the science of life, which is nothing but thoughts and emotions. Whose? Mine. My thought and my emotion has to be such that I create the life that I want. So if I want happiness in my life, I have to create and I have to invoke the emotion of happiness in myself to see happiness in my life. Because what I give as thought, as emotion, as words, and therefore as action is absolutely what I receive back in my life. What goes around comes around. As you sow, so shall you reap. Now, although we know these proverbs and although we know these statements, we do not really live it. So these 5 days we're going to see how to really live this life where as I sow, what do I sow as thought? What do I sow as an emotion? Is what I'm going to focus on from today. Right? So let's now look at the assignment and what is it that I can do in order to live the life of my dreams. Step 1, listen carefully and take it down. I invite all of you to observe your thoughts and to observe your emotions and put that down for the day. So from today till tomorrow, till we have the next session, I want each and every one of you to put down the thoughts that you're thinking, because many a times we are not even in the space of observing what thoughts am I in, or observing what emotions am I in at different intervals in our daily life. From today we are going to start the most simple process but the most powerful process of now focusing on self, focusing on my thoughts and my emotions, and you're going to put it down into the book, into a journal. So keep a book for yourself and start writing thoughts. So put the heading thoughts and start putting the thoughts that you are repetitively thinking in a day. I would invite you to write the most disturbing, irritating, anxious, tension-causing thoughts rather than the positive ones, because positive thoughts do not give us any misery. It is always the negative thoughts, the anxious thoughts, the worrying thoughts, the sad thoughts that creates a difference in our life, where it does not help us or it does not serve us to make our life better. So you're going to observe from today till tomorrow until the next session what your negative thoughts are. Put that down in points. Similarly, also observe what are the different types of negative emotions that is coming to me on a daily basis. Put that down also. We know when we are negative, how does it feel and what we think. We also know when we are positive. So from today until tomorrow, we're just going to observe, focus our negative thoughts and emotions, and we're going to put it down in a book. So this is going to be the assignment for the day. Let me conclude by saying that today, day 1, we saw the secret formula of the science of life, starting from thought to life. Thought and emotion creates words, words creates action, action creates habits, habits create character or personality, and the character or personality determines our destiny or life. Knowing this to be the absolute truth, we can start living this and creating the life of our dreams by focusing on our thoughts and emotions. The assignment for the day therefore is, I'm going to observe now my negative thoughts and emotions and journal it into a book and observe and realize what are those thoughts and emotions that is actually not serving me, because that is what we need to switch. The very next day, that is tomorrow's session, we are going to see how to switch the negative thoughts and emotions, and we're going to see a beautiful practice for that. So if you have to do this assignment. If you cannot do this assignment, you will not be able to actually switch that in day 2. So all the best. Try doing this practice. Start focusing on self. Start observing self, because it is only the self and only the self that can change your life. So do this assignment, and I'll see you soon tomorrow for another beautiful session.